live from Newegg Studios in Southern California. This is Newegg Now. I'm Trisha Hirschberger.
I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's
we
good
missed
to be
you
back.
last week. This is excellent.
I didn't run myself ragged at ComicCon so poorly that I couldn't be here this week. So that's good news.
Well, we appreciated you finding the Wi-Fi's to get us a video message out under the wire, last possible second.
I think I sent it to you guys during the show.
Oh,
is when it finally finished the upload because, yeah, finding Wi-Fi at any convention is awful, but especially at a convention as big as San Diego Comic-Con. I was telling Juan before the show started, I just went down Broadway in the Gaslamp district of San Diego, walking into any place that might have Wi-Fi and doing a quick speedtest.net to see what I could get. And I had filmed that video the night before, so finally during the show I found enough Wi-Fi to upload it, which it was a short video.
And we appreciated the Herculean effort in getting us a piece of content. We're going to be talking more about Comic-Con in just a bit. To welcome you to the show,
Thank you.
To you out there watching to the show, this is Newegg Now. We're here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We talk about tech, we play games, and we share great limited time deals on the hardware you love. Newegg Now deals go live at the start of the show each week. So that's right about now.
Yeah.
Right about now. And they last until the end of the day or until supplies run out. You can watch along with the show, see all the deals on newegg.com/newegg-now.
So we've got a ton to talk about in today's show. Comic-Con, of course, back to college shopping, and the latest update for No Man's Sky. And since we're a live show, we want you guys out there in the audience to be part of that conversation with Juan and I. We're watching the chat on Newegg's YouTube and Facebook, so if you drop us questions or comments there, you might end up as part of today's show. So what was your favorite trailer or announcement at Comic-Con? Are you ready to give No Man's Sky another chance? Let us know your thoughts on these questions or any questions or thoughts of your own about other things in the chat on YouTube or Facebook.
Okay, but before we go any further, get too distracted, I've already taken us off script a couple times. Let's talk about a couple of today's deals that you'll find right there on that newegg.com/newegg-now website.
Yes, let's focus now because we're probably going to go off script a lot in today's episode.
I'm feeling it.
Okay,
loving it.
Deals. It's quickly becoming a weekly tradition, and we're happy to keep it going this week with another great GPU deal. So you can pick up the 6GB EVGA GeForce GTX 1060 for $80 off. You'll also get a $20 gift card that you can use later. So that's a killer bargain that will not last long, so make sure that you check it out right now before it's gone.
And we also have a pretty amazing deal on a high-end MSI gaming laptop that's only available at Newegg. Always fun with the exclusives. This is the MSI GX63 VR. This 15.6-inch laptop has a 120 hertz refresh rate display, an i7 7700 HQ CPU, a GTX 1070 graphics card. If you're looking for a portable powerhouse, look no further because you can pick that laptop up for $100 off right now. Plus, you'll get a $60 gift card you can use for a brand new game or whatever else you want to accessorize it with.
Yeah, and if you're in the market for a pre-built PC, then check out the ABS BattleBox Essential Bearcat Barrage. That's a lot of B's.
It's a good alliterative quality to it. I like it.
This desktop has an overclockable 8th gen Intel CPU and a 1070 Ti, perfect for VR or really any kind of gaming. It's discounted right now and also comes with a $30 gift card that you can use later.
Not too shabby. All right, we'll get back into some of the other deals throughout the show, but Trisha, as you know, you were missed last week.
Thank you. Yes.
I think you would have enjoyed the Hoonigans. I think that would have been fun.
I am so mad I missed the car episode.
I just think because, you know, especially given your background, because you did some auto tech.
I did, yeah. I used to be more of a gearhead than I have been in recent years, but it always lives with you.
So I think we need to challenge them because they've got their simulators. We need to do a Newegg Hoonigan, get our butts kicked by people who race cars for real showdown.
Oh, we would totally.
I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. We know what the outcome of that's going to be. But you were off. You were on a field trip doing something super, super fun.
Yes.
I mean, you left me all alone, and that made me sad. But then you came back, and that made me happy. So that's the whirlwind of emotions that Juan has felt over the last week. But you were down in San Diego.
Yes.
You know, tell us about it. What kind of swag did you pick up? What kind of events did you check out? I know you're not big on hitting all of the the keynotes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually don't do panels, and I know that's very bizarre for some people who just specifically go to Comic-Con for panels. I really love the expo hall and the show floor and checking out everyone's cosplays and and shopping. I do a lot of shopping there.
And you were also rocking your Wonder Woman gear.
I was rocking my Wonder Woman cosplay Thursday and Friday, and I made the San Diego Union Tribune front page. Hey,
right?
So that was pretty exciting. They did a big article on the female presence at Comic-Con, and it was me posing with a little girl who wanted her picture with Wonder Woman.
It's an epic
very
shot.
Cool.
You can find it on her Instagram. It's a great photo.
Yeah, so this year was really awesome. Also, there's so many outdoor activations now at Comic-Con that are experiences that you don't even need a badge to check out, which
That's cool.
I always love to highlight those experiences as well. So some of the things that I would say were highlights for me, oh my goodness, do you remember Showbiz Pizza? Like the predecessor to Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
Okay, so their animatronic band was Rockafire. I'm getting somewhere with this.
Okay.
Follow me on this. So Deadpool had a Deadpool super duper dance party in the middle of the expo hall that was a Deadpool animatronic rocking out with Rockafire behind him. And I feel like every 80s kid was like, oh, like I remember that. It was
That's a pretty good
hilarious.
That's a pretty good callback to
yeah.
a part of my childhood that I actually had to unlock.
Very
right there.
ridiculous and hilarious. There was also a really cool Shadow of the Tomb Raider activation in the Gaslamp District. Again, this is one of those things you don't need a badge for, where you could hold snakes, which I did, and eat bugs, and play the game.
So
play like the first
you
hour
held
of
snakes.
the game.
Did you eat the bugs?
A little bit. I'll be honest. It was for another show that I work on. That,
Awesome.
And my co-host on that show was like, "Oh, no problem, giant scorpion." Like no problem. And I was not quite so gung ho about
So
it.
bold
but
in
I
your
did definitely
insect
take like a
consumption.
giant cockroach and offered a Lady in the Trampet with her. So we shared a giant cockroach. It was super gross. She was like, it's not so bad about everything, but she's also much more badass than I am.
Not my jam.
But yeah, that was really cool, and a lot of people took pictures with snakes there. I think if you ate the bugs, you got a t-shirt, like if you were just going for funsies. I got to play
Not worth
Super
it.
Smash Bros. Ult and Overcooked 2,
Oh,
which
how
was really cool.
How was Overcooked 2?
Really good. We made sushi.
Is it fun?
Yeah, and now there's online multiplayer as well.
Oh, nice. So you can
Yeah.
kind of expand beyond just the couch co-op.
Yeah, and you can combine them. So you could do like, we could be playing on one couch
That's
and combine with
cool.
friends of
I
ours
like that a
somewhere
lot.
else. It was really, really neat. So there's a lot of really good stuff going on there. Yeah, it was a great Comic-Con.
So, I mean, it sounds like this Comic-Con got us back to some of the flavor feel of like classic Comic-Con, because there wasn't a ton of like Marvel dominates every single news feed or Game of Thrones is the only
No.
thing we're talking about.
Like Marvel Cinematic had zero presence at all. Game of Thrones also didn't have their big panel this year.
Right.
Westworld was nowhere to be found. I think there was like one party that people from Game of Thrones and Westworld were supposed to be at, but I'm not cool enough to get invited to said party. Although I was at the Power Rangers party, so I felt pretty cool about that. I
That's
did
pretty
pose
good.
with a bunch of Power Rangers. It was very neat. But yeah, so this was a very different show in that Hall H was not, Hall H is the big hall, for those of you who've never been to Comic-Con, that is the hard to get into huge panels that people camp out overnight in line for,
All
et
the
cetera, et
exclusive
cetera.
footage from trailers that people try
and
to
that's
leak.
where you get like the Game of Thrones panel and all
Right.
that stuff. And Hall H this year was not, I mean, it was still incredibly popular, don't get me wrong, but it was not as bad as it has been in previous years. So I think the good thing about that is a lot more people got to see big panels, and I think panels that may have not otherwise gotten
The
as
same
much
attention?
attention got a little bit more
Yeah.
highlighting, which
I felt
is
like there was a little
incredible.
bit more air in this year's Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at kind of the announcements that came
Yeah.
out, you didn't feel like completely bombarded with stuff, which I think is good, because sometimes stuff ends up getting buried
Right.
with other stuff, which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you feel like this year's Comic-Con was missing anything from the stuff you got to see online?
Well, I mean, covering the show remotely, because I was here. No, actually, that's what was kind of refreshing about this year's Comic-Con was the fact that it was a little bit more varied. What you were saying, like there are a few stories that I probably wouldn't have picked up on in major press if there had been a major Marvel announcement. Just again, kind of sucking all of the air out of the room. It's just that interesting timeline,
Yeah.
They showed up with Deadpool. Marvel showed up with Deadpool. Like, Deadpool 2 is out.
Right.
You've already seen it. So let's have some fun with it. And that's the kind of thing that I like getting back to is Comic-Con is interesting when it's all major announcements and all the buzz, and we're trying to
Yeah.
create this marketing machine to support new content. But then doesn't always feel like it's celebrating the content, just promoting it. And so we got to take that step back, that little bit of a step back to kind of like, oh yeah, there are some things that we really like about this. We can just have fun with it. There didn't seem to be as much pressure. Because even some of the announcements, so I mean, like non-Marvel properties, like DC had some great showing.
DC was all over the place there. They were giving out free superhero ice cream over in Petco Park, and they had like little ice cream carts that they were rolling around with, just doling out free ice cream to everybody. And Sideshow had some beautiful DC figures. They had some beautiful Marvel figures as well. But yeah, I mean, it was a really nice show to just kind of walk around and look what was out there. And when you kind of led us into this conversation, you had mentioned kind of going back to what ComicCon used to be, in a sense. And I definitely feel like a lot of the booths that sometimes don't get as much attention because they're on the far west end. So it's like video games, and then it goes into the small local comic book sellers or the comic book sellers that come in from all over. Those booths usually don't get as much attention, and I feel like this year people were really like snaking up and down those aisles.
That's cool.
To find things. So yeah, I spent way too much on collectibles and art and clothing items.
Nice.
But that's like my.
That's ComicCon.
That's
like,
my vacation for the year. That's my gift to me. But yeah, DC was everywhere. So speaking of non-Marvel properties, let's go ahead and dive into the 3 big new movie trailers that we want to talk about today.
Definitely.
Starting with Aquaman.
Yes. So
JC, what'd you think of the Aquaman trailer?
So I like this.
Yeah.
I like this a lot. Again, getting us away from Aquaman being a punchline in an episode of Entourage.
You're right.
And kind of building off of some things that I didn't think were quite successful in Justice League, but introduced some interesting ideas. Yeah. Aquaman is a property that I think deserves to be dark. It should be, it's underwater, it's in the ocean.
DC's gotten a lot of crap for being too dark with their films, but I feel like with Aquaman...
This one's appropriate.
Yeah, I feel like with Aquaman, because he's the butt of so many jokes, like, people are going to say, oh, Aquaman riding in on a seahorse, like, how scary is that?
Right.
When you make the creatures he's riding look like demons from
Terrifying
another dimension, then yes,
yeah.
It's cool, and I'm terrified, and I should be. So I'm okay with that for this as well. I am always hopeful going into new superhero movies that I'm cautiously optimistic, I should say. I always have reservations, but I want it to be good. I feel like most fans, we want it to be good.
Definitely. Well, and this also starting to have that feel like there could be potential in DC having that expanded universe conversation. Mm-hmm. You know, DC introduced the whole like multiverse concept into comics through characters like the Flash. And so not that we would want to see a soft reboot of the DC cinematic universe, but there's potential now to expand on that universe and tell a couple different types of stories. I think they maybe hinged a little too much on those Superman, Batman, Justice League films.
Okay.
Where then a film like the Wonder Woman movie comes out.
Yeah. And
you're like, oh, how refreshing to have a superhero that cares about hope. Right. And like the future of humanity and
my girl.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So now we've got some other properties to kind of point to where we can tell some different colors. The palette doesn't always need to be Batman dark and gritty, and dark.
Yeah, that worked for a while.
Well, and it
Great
works,
job. Let's vary it a little bit
for Batman.
I think the critics of the Aquaman footage that we just looked at are a little bit concerned that the dialogue might need a little work. It might be a little bit cliche. It might be a little bit clunky.
It's hard to tell from the trailer, though.
Yeah, it's super hard to tell. And like I said, I like to always go in cautiously optimistic that it's going to be wonderful.
But moving on, and again, another thing that I think a lot of people are cautiously very optimistic about, staying in the DC universe, Shazam. So before we even get to the trailer, are you a fan?
This
was
my favorite announcement from Comic-Con this year.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. So I mean, like, but you're a fan of the character. You can tell me everything about the comics, obviously.
I am not a Shazam / Captain Marvel expert.
Billy Batson's blood type.
Yep, I'm not a Billy Batson expert. But you know, I understand the history. I'm very familiar with the idea that it's. I heard people say this online, and it's immediately what I thought of when I saw this trailer. But kind of what I've always thought of when I thought of Captain Marvel is that it's kind of like the movie Big with Tom Hanks, but a superhero.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it should be. That's what makes me so excited.
Yeah.
And we get to explore a completely different tone. This is something Marvel can do with a character like Peter Parker.
Sure.
You can explore sort of a high school shenanigans, double life kind of a thing in a much more lighthearted tone, while still keeping the stakes really, really high. Like Spider-Man Homecoming is a beautiful balance between comedy and drama.
Right.
And now I'm hoping that we can do something similar with this kind of pathos, with this kind of dichotomy in a character like Shazam. Because you get all of the fish out of water elements, but then you should also be able to tell this is a superhero on the stage of Superman in terms of power.
Yeah, a lot of times people compare Shazam's powers to Superman. Yeah.
So this makes me very silly excited because I want, I want a character that can be lighthearted, but that we can still, the stakes are still high.
Yes.
And so I was hoping that they would do something like this with The Flash.
Okay.
So I think The Flash is a natural for that kind of comedic. I don't know. Maybe there's enough Flash with the TV show. It's a completely separate universe.
I'm such a fan of the TV show that it's very hard for me
to see someone else as the Flash.
To accept the DC.
The film Flash.
The film Flash.
Because it's nothing against. I can't remember the name of the actor.
Yeah, nothing against him. But he's not my Barry. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm very stuck in that. But yeah, I mean, I thought this trailer that we're watching right now looked amazing. I thought it was very funny. I think Zach Levi is doing a great job so far. Perfect fit for that kind of childlike. The only thing I'll say that I was like, that I'm a little unsure of, I don't. Careful. I know, right? I know. I'm hesitant about the glowing lightning bulb on the front.
That does look a little.
Yes, hesitant about that. But everything else I'm really excited about, and it's certainly not going to make me be like, I'm not seeing this movie now. I'm definitely seeing the movie.
No, that one actually makes me excited to catch something DC, because again, it's at least just a different color palette.
Yeah, and I think consensus online is that most people are pretty stoked about this film. The only thing that I've even kind of heard again is that it might feel like more of a spoof of a superhero movie rather than a superhero movie, but it's definitely going to have its own tone, and I think that's okay.
No, I think we need to hit that part of the circle, though. Yeah. Deadpool actually helps other superhero films by being satirical about superhero films, because it's how we break out of those tropes. For DC, we need a character that can break them out of the Batman and Batman v Superman era of cinema storytelling and do something fresh.
So yeah, fingers crossed. And then last but not least, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Juan, are you a big Godzilla fan?
Well, I'm about 5'8", and that is packed to the gills with kaiju adoration.
With Godzilla fandom, if you will.
I'm a pretty big fan, and even to the point where I get very cranky with people who didn't like the 2014 American Godzilla film. I like having a spectrum of kaiju.
Okay.
So it's not just there's not just one type of monster movie. If you want Pacific Rim all action, bullets flying, giant robots.
I loved Pacific Rim.
It's incredible.
One, I should say.
Actually, I still had fun with the second one, even though it's off the rails.
Not enough kaiju.
Absurd. Not enough kaiju. But you can have the all action. What I liked about the 2014 American Godzilla film is that it was more like a Jaws film. That it takes a long time to build up to an epic Godzilla moment. I know that pissed a lot of people off. Like, there should have been more Godzilla. But
there is something lovely about leaving it to the imagination.
And I like that Jaws feeling. Like, I don't need to see the shark in every single frame of Jaws. I know Godzilla plays with this in a way that I think audiences went in with one expectation, they didn't get it. But then you compare that to like the Shin Godzilla, the Japanese film, which is this amazing satire on government bureaucracy, and just like there are so many different things that you can do with kaiju that now I'm happy to see us returning to that Godzilla world too.
Yes.
So I'm super stoked.
So Godzilla King of the Monsters is a follow-up to that 2014 American reboot movie like we were just talking about. And so I know we're looking at some of this footage right now. As a huge Godzilla fan, what did you think of this trailer?
So I started giggling because of what I just mentioned. The first Godzilla film is more like a Jaws movie. Apparently, this studio took that to heart and went like, oh, well, if you didn't think there was enough Godzilla in the 2014 film,
kaiju!
How about Godzilla in the trailer doing massive sky beam fire breath, and we're just gonna put every
and bring all
monster,
the
Mothra, Ghidorah, Rodan. We'll just do them all if you didn't think that there was enough kaiju action in the first film.
Godzilla and friends.
I'm hoping that the two films complement each other in the same way that like Alien and Aliens are in the same world but are very different films.
Very different.
So the first Godzilla can be my Jaws film that I love. It's patient. It takes its time before you get to your epic Godzilla fight. And this film's just gonna be all action, all kaiju all the time.
Although in this trailer we don't see any monster on monster fights.
Right.
I thought it was very interesting in this trailer that they really refer to the Titans and the kaiju as the good guys, like they're saving humanity. And then, there's that one part in there where she says, "I'm sorry," and that makes me think that maybe that is not ultimately what's going on. We're being misled. I don't know. I love that 11 is starring.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
It's excellent to see, and again, like it's nice when you kind of latch onto an actor or an actress, and you're like, I want to see them do more things.
Yeah,
and
she's
they
real good.
Show up in something really interesting.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
I will also watch this movie.
Oh, I'm stoked. I love the different incarnations. The Godzilla anime that's out right now is phenomenal, too. So this is a good time for diversification of giant monsters. Aside from those big three, we went on a little longer about those than I think.
Sorry, I said we're going to do this the entire script
We're
today.
going to be way off script. We've got a couple minutes. You said there was some solid cosplay at
Some
ComicCon?
amazing cosplay at Comic-Con. Yeah, I always like when I see people build robotics or pneumatics into their cosplays. And I saw a really great Hawkman with wings that would expand. And obviously you don't want to expand them when you're inside the expo hall, but when you're outside and you have a little bit more space, you can do that. And even just manually expanding wings is super impressive. But like I said, when you put pneumatics or robotics into your cosplay,
super cool.
And there was a Drax that I highlighted on my Twitter because he did the whole like body paint and was just super jacked anyway. I saw a lot of male Wonder Woman cosplays that were really super well done, like old Gladiator style, but with the right color scheme and the right angles, and that was really cool. Lots of family cosplays. Some really good stuff. It was a good year for cosplay.
And I wanted to know. Sorry, I'm going to shift gears real quick because we're getting the thing here. Was there a sense on the show floor when we got the announcements on Clone Wars? Because that blew up the internet. Did that seem to filter through?
I feel like that never resonates in the expo hall. I feel like people in the expo hall are so blinders on to get the exclusive collectible or whatever it is that they're in there to get.
Like that message doesn't spread.
Yeah, well, it does once you leave the expo hall. Like once you get back to somewhat of reality.
Cell coverage again?
And you have cell coverage again, right. And then you can talk to people. That's when that happens. Because, yeah, I mean, the people, or when the people that just come out of the panel start to infiltrate and talk to friends. But really, I mean, people stay in small groups in the expo hall because you kind of have to navigate. Yeah. I didn't experience that on the show floor until I got on the internet a little while later. But yeah, that was a huge thing on the internet for sure, as it should be.
One sentence reaction: Buffy reboot.
Not sure.
Okay, I'm kind of in the same boat too.
Like I said, I try to be optimistic about everything, but Buffy is so sacred to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you feel the same way. On one hand, I love it being introduced to a new generation and dealing with today's problems, because I feel like the first Buffy did a really great job of dealing with our generation's problems as high schoolers and growing up. Like I grew up with Buffy. And Joss Whedon's amazing, and Joss Whedon's doing the new one, so that that's good.
That's continuity.
I have a lot of pros, but also some cons. Like, why does it need to be a reboot? Why can't it be a sequel? Why can't it just exist in the same universe but later? I have a lot of questions, but I don't know. Maybe I just have to sit back and say, in Whedon I trust.
And that's exactly how Marie and I felt with the Jodie Whittaker, more of the Doctor Who stuff.
Jodie Whittaker!
And also just getting excited. Somehow Lex knows way more about Doctor Who than because we don't watch it with her.
Cool.
But we were also just sitting down. Marie and I were talking about that, going, the Doctor should be of that generation, of that era, and how fitting that my daughter will grow up probably consuming the first female doctor as part of what we introduce her to in the world of Doctor Who.
One thing that did spread through the show floor was when Jodie made her first appearance as the new doctor. People were crying. It was like everywhere. It was
kind
insane.
of a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was ComicCon 2018 in a nutshell.
It sounds like it was a fun time.
It was.
Hopefully, I'll get to go next year. Maybe. I don't know. We should do the show at ComicCon.
From ComicCon. Hear that, everyone?
That's just, I think, what we should do. So, but moving right along.
That's the goal. Yes, moving right along. If there are children watching right now, please cover your ears and go run and hide because we're about to discuss a very scary topic. Back to school shopping.
Boo. No, this is good. This is good stuff. Yeah, this is good. Newegg might not specialize in pencils or textbooks, but what we do have is all the tech and hardware you need to get you ready to power through the school year, whether you're heading back to high school or you're going off to college. So let's start with the heart of any college experience, your computer.
Yes.
Hey, number one, most important. As we've made very clear on Newegg now in previous weeks, the sheer variety of PCs you can get in 2018 is enormous.
Oh, yeah.
From high-performance gaming and rendering rigs to insanely tiny portable computers, you've got plenty of options.
But if you are moving into a dorm room, then you might not have the luxury of a huge desk that can hold a giant build. So when space is at a premium, you need to consider exactly what your needs are when it comes to a machine.
So when you're building a PC specifically for a dorm room or similar limited space, your considerations are a little different than they would be in a larger or more permanent home. I mean, even my tiny little office, I have some space considerations. I'm thinking about doing the rebuild on Frankenbuild.
Yeah.
We put together a very special Back to College video on that very subject, so let's take a look at that right now.
Listen up, class. Some of you might be thinking that your PC gaming has to take a back seat to your studies now that you're moving into the dorms. But don't worry, in today's lesson we'll go over setting up the ultimate gaming PC for your dorm room, whether it's for that esports scholarship or just to blow off steam after class. Step 1. Look at this desk. Like the rest of your dorm room, it's a bit on the small side. Space is at a premium here, but that doesn't mean you have to go without a top-end rig. We're going to start with a small form factor PC chassis, like the one you see here. PC cases come in all shapes and sizes, but we need something compact. Next, we're gonna fill that case with parts. The right parts. Most importantly, you want a mini ITX motherboard to fit in your mini ITX case. Mini ITX is small. Small enough to fit in a small form chassis, but still big enough to mount a high-end CPU, high-end GPU, and enough RAM for marathon gaming when you should be doing your homework. Now that we've got our PC, we need a monitor. You can throw that 32-inch monstrosity right out the window. It's not going to fit. Instead, we're going with a 24-inch 144Hz gaming monitor. It will actually fit on the desk, and it's half the cost of the larger models. With the essentials in place, now it's time for peripherals. Unless you want to be a scrub, get your hands on a gaming-grade mouse and keyboard. A 60% mechanical keyboard leaves plenty of space for a mouse plus a pad. And don't forget to go with extra RGBs to annoy your roommate. If you have the option, ditch that standard office chair. Your butt deserves better. So get a gaming throne fit for a dorm room battle station. Finally, fill all that extra space with nerdy goodies. Action figures, models, swag, whatever. You've actually managed to save a ton of space, so why not make the most of it? And that's it, the ultimate dorm room battle station. All the power you need in a compact footprint. Class dismissed.
Ooh, lots of useful information there, and some good voiceover work too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Newegg pulling all the stops with some top-tier talent, some amazing voiceover work there. Whoever they got in front of a microphone, the dulcet tones of someone very, very talented.
Very impressive.
It was me. It was all me. I did the thing. I won the day.
Woo! So another thing to keep in mind when designing a work or gaming station is how you're allowed to use the space.
Right.
So if you're in a dorm, for example, you might not be able to change the layout of the room very much, which can make selecting the right furniture and decorations a real issue. And versatility is incredibly important, as well as everything being fairly portable, because you might not be in the same room for more than a semester or two.
So Newegg actually has a whole guide this year focused on college shopping in particular. There's a link to that guide in the description below this video on YouTube and Facebook. So click on over and you can read all about the advantages and disadvantages of laptops, tablets, and desktop PCs for college students. There are also buying guides covering standing desks, monitors, portable mice and keyboards, a lot of really great information.
Now, we're talking about college in particular, but pretty much everything we're going to cover applies to everyone who's interested in portability and in getting the most out of a limited space.
Oh, totally. And I mean, like, it's things that we've talked about on the show. I'm gonna take us, back to a while back when we were talking about like vlogging setups and stuff like that. I'm actually pushing into how much work can I get done from a phone.
Yeah, keeping it super portable for travel if you're covering a con or something like that. And
Absolutely.
You've managed to really produce some excellent stuff start to finish off your phone, which you cover so well on your channel.
So I've had a huge respect though. I mean, so now applying that to things like, if I have a little bit more space than just like a camera sling, what can you do with that?
Yeah.
You can really maximize your tech prowess now in ways that even a couple years ago would have been very difficult to do.
Now, Juan, when you were in college, did you live in a dorm?
So no, my first year of college, so for my first semester, I was living at home. Then my parents moved because my dad's military. And so I jumped into an apartment with a friend in maybe not one of the nicer areas.
How fancy are you, though? Right to an apartment.
Town. And so we were thinking, oh, it's going to be this cool pad. Everyone's going to want to hang out at our apartment. No one wants to hang out in your dopey college bachelor pad apartment. But we did have a tiny little loft space.
Okay.
So we had a one-bedroom apartment. It was living room, bedroom. We were shacked up in bunk beds. And then above the bunk beds was this like half loft where we kept 3 computers. And back then, old like compact gray box desktops, full CRT monitors, up this rickety little ladder.
Yep.
Oh, it was the only place that we had left to store it all. It was hilarious.
Yep, I did the dorm life. So I had a similar experience where the dorm was just barely big enough to fit 2 twin beds and 2 desks that were back to back with each other. Like that's all that could fit in there.
Did you do laptop or did you have a desktop?
I did desktop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was such a PC gamer kid that like if I was only going to have one computer, no question, it was going to be a desktop.
Back then, it needed to be robust and powerful, not portable, and that was the big divide. Is you spend so much more on the portability back then for something that was moderately powerful.
Well, I mean, but now we've got tablets, we've got 2-in-1s, we've got super thin ultrabooks, like. Now you can get that powerhouse in a portable form factor, which is amazing.
And so when we think about PCs, usually we're thinking about big computers with huge graphics cards. This is Newegg. But that's not always realistic if space is at a premium. And we've talked a little about, actually a lot of it, about smaller form factor desktops on previous episodes of the show, covering some trade shows, and how that market is increasing dramatically.
Yeah, I mean, PCs like Intel's Nook line or MSI's Trident series or Zotac Z boxes all pack a ton of power into real tiny cases. So you can get the power of a 1080 in a tiny little build that barely takes up any space at all. So I feel like something like that is perfect if you want a powerful desktop but don't have a lot of space. I wish they had that when I was in college.
Definitely. So desktops are great, but for a lot of people, especially college students, laptops are a better solution.
You want to take them to class, take notes on your laptop, etc.
Because they're portable, being able to move that stuff around, your work life, your play life, and then you have this one thing that can kind of fill all of those different overlapping Venn diagram circle points. So a computer that you can still use at home as well as when you're out and about, that's also going to be killer for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, and of course, laptops are more expensive on average, which is the downside. So that's why a lot of people will invest in a powerful desktop for their serious computing needs or serious gaming needs, and then go with a lower priced laptop that only needs to browse the net and run Office for on the go.
Yeah, so you might want to go all in on a powerful laptop.
Yeah.
The nice thing about modern laptops is you can plug them into a television or a display. You can still have a fully functional PC that then you can unplug it from all those things and take it with you when you need it. So if you get the right system, that can be your one big tech investment for college. I'm going to stray off script just once more here, because the nice thing is that I think if you can save up and you can buy for a nice, really powerful gaming laptop.
Yes.
I have an affinity for laptops because that's also a longevity argument. I think you've got a powerful system that can last a little bit longer than if you're going for always having like the sleekest low power kind of system too. I mean, there's a place for both.
I don't know about that. I think that something that's super minimalistic, like a Chromebook or an always connected PC, will give you longevity at that lower price point. And for me, whenever I think longevity, I think desktop because you can
swap parts out and stuff like that.
Although laptops are now being made where you can mess around with them a little bit, which is great. Some are.
A little bit.
But
that's kind of my kind of feeling.
Okay.
You know, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's why I like going, because I went with a gaming laptop. I didn't go with a mobile workstation because I wanted to do video rendering and play some games.
Right.
But then it was also surprising that I went down, I visited some family, and it was still perfectly capable of exposing my aunts and uncles to like new VR stuff.
Cool.
And this is like years old laptop, so I didn't feel like I'd lost out or I had to buy new gear.
Totally.
So
if you get a powerhouse, totally.
Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, if that's the sort of thing that interests you, then listen up, because this is Newegg now.
It is.
So we have some big deals on powerful laptops like the Dell i7577, which has a great design. It's got an i5 Gen 7300 HQ CPU and a 1060 GPU discounted right now for $100 off, along with a $70 gift card. So that laptop and others like it are really good for gaming, but also important if your major or your job requires a great deal of computational power.
Now, 2-in-1s are also an option worth considering, especially if you're getting into art and design. So these laptops can double as tablets, and some will come with a stylus, which is great if you need that sort of fine point control, be able to draw or write on a screen. So like laptops, 2-in-1s vary dramatically in terms of price and power. You can get fairly straightforward options with very basic features, or go all out for the latest and greatest with dedicated GPUs and high-end specs. So we have some slick 2-in-1s on sale right now on that Newegg Now deals page, like the Huawei MateBook E, which we have for $50 off, along with a $50 gift card.
But outfitting your dorm room or bedroom with the latest tech is only part of really making a room your own. You also need to pay attention to furniture, decorations, and of course looking cool, so people can hang out at your sweet bachelor pad.
No one wants to hang out at your sweet apartment bachelor pad in the late 90s. I need to go back in time and tell myself
Then
that.
make it comfy for yourself. Having a comfy place to sit is critical for gaming or working, so make sure you pick up a nice chair like the Vertigear S-Line SL4000 Racing Series gaming chair. So we've got a huge selection of colors available right now on that Newegg Now page, all for $130 off. So you can pick the one that fits your vibe.
Totally. I mean, you'll want a nice chair for sure. I mean, you're going to be, in it for a long period of time. But a good desk is also important and often overlooked. My first desk was just the cheapest IKEA table that I could.
Mine came with the dorm room, and it was not good.
Not ideal. One solution, picking up, it's all the rage right now, standing desks.
Yes.
And this makes sense because having the option to sit or stand whenever you want is all around awesome, and can be a nice little space-saving thing too, especially if you maybe don't have room. You were back to back in your dorm room, barely enough room to kind of wedge in there. Well, if one of you were standing, you would have had a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more elbow room.
True.
If you want to pick one up right now, you are in luck because we have the very nice MotionWise electric height adjustable desk available on Newegg.com/Newegg Now for $150 off.
And another way to add some flair to your setup is with these little guys. You can see them just on top of this case right here. Can you grab them? They're plugged in.
I'm gonna try.
He's going for it. So these are Pixel Pals, and Pixel Pals run off batteries, or you can buy an adapter like we have here to have them plugged in, and you can get just about any character you can imagine. They're whole collection is so expansive, from Batman to Kratos, whatever you want. You can see them around the set in every single episode of Newegg now. I personally love these guys. I think they're so cool.
Super affordable, most of them under $20. Great as a little light source, some ambient lighting. Good if you want something a little different than your standard Funko figurine. Easy to pack, easy to move around, a perfect way to personalize a small space.
Yeah, and lighting is very important and can dramatically change the feeling of a room. So we've gone over smart lighting a few times, but it's worth mentioning again. Smart lighting is awesome. It allows you to not only control the color and intensity of your bulbs, but also activate them at certain times. So we always bring up how you can connect colored bulbs to Steam, and your lighting can change depending on what game you're playing.
So you can imagine all the cool things you can do with just a few smart bulbs, even if you're working with a small space or a dorm room. Who needs to paint the wall when you can just change the color of the wall with light whenever you want?
Yeah, there's a lot more to say about the tech and hardware that you need to get ready to go back to college, and fortunately, you can watch and read more in Newegg's full guide. So check out the link in the Back to College guide in the description for this video, because it's time for you guys to get schooled. That's what they wrote in my script.
Yes, I can see it. It's right there. Remember to check out the limited time deals. No, guys, it was a good joke. No, I promise. Remember to check out the limited time deals we have on Newegg.com/Newegg now. Save money, get gift cards with deals over and above the normal low prices that you'll find on Newegg. We should probably.
I did see that we got some cool viewer comments
yes, we did.
On ComicCon. I see our very own Mike had said Captain Marvel looks like a buff Jimmy Fallon, which I thought was hilarious, and I concur. We also have CyGamer22 says, the new Metro trailer, it was awesome! Did you see the new Metro trailer?
I have not seen the new Metro
trailer.
I
have not either, so we will be Googling that as soon as this is over. And Fat Produce on YouTube says, I'm excited for Neil Breen's Twisted trailer that landed earlier this week.
That one, so Fat Produce actually sent that, put that under my nose on Twitter. It was kind of one of those like, watch it. You
should watch this.
He's very excited about this, and by proxy, I am now significantly more excited about this. It looks really very interesting.
Cool. Well, so I know what we'll be doing over lunch break then is watching more trailers because it's a good time to be a nerd. Okay, so aside from digesting all the big Comic-Con announcements, the top news in the nerd world this week was the release of the latest update for No Man's Sky.
Yep.
So Juan and I are going to take it for a spin ourselves today on the show. We'll get it all set up here, and while we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for No Man's Sky next.
Do it. Looking good. No Man's Sky, originally released in 2016. Probably hasn't been a single game that's seen more of a roller coaster ride over the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
Hugely hyped prior to its release, trailers that seemed to promise an infinite universe built on procedural generation, a universe that was maybe shared with other players, maybe, possibly. It got a little bit fuzzy in there, what features we were promised versus what was just implied.
Yeah.
After release, players got their hands on it, and many found that the actual experience didn't quite live up to the expectations built by that pre-release hype. There was a backlash, and though the game still sold well, it was regarded as one of the bigger disappointments of that year.
Yes, but that was 2 years ago, and the developers at Hello Games haven't given up on No Man's Sky. Updates have come out regularly, adding more and more features to the experience. Planets are more varied than they were at launch. One update overhauled and expanded the game's story. Another added drivable vehicles and base building, and slowly but surely, the game kept getting better.
Yeah.
It kept getting deeper and richer in terms of actual gameplay, rather than just being a very broad but kind of shallow experience.
Which is good.
And now, with the next update that came out this week, No Man's Sky actually has real, honest-to-goodness multiplayer.
Nice.
You can join up with friends and explore the galaxy side by side, build giant shared bases anywhere you like, own freighters in space, and customize your character's appearance. So 2 years later, via continued development and free updates, No Man's Sky might have finally become the game that players were hoping for at launch.
Now, have you played it?
Not very much. I've watched other people play it. I've watched streams of it, and I didn't initially jump on it because it's not the type of game that I would normally get really deep into.
I was scared away by that initial
Really?
commentary on it, being like, well, you can spend a lot of time doing what? What's the game? And I think it really does, well, one, it's really exciting that the developer has been working so hard on
I love that.
expanding.
Like, I'm fascinated with following this game and this game's progress because of what it's been to the gaming industry.
Right.
And especially now with Next and the idea that Hello Games has listened to feedback and continued working on something till 2 years later now. To see that resurgence is really fascinating to watch. I don't know, it reminds me of kind of a broader discussion of when games talk about, should we release on early access?
Yeah.
If the game's not fully ready yet, is it going to give people such a bad impression that once the game is finally ready to release, they won't give it a shot? But then at the same time, will we lose out on invaluable feedback that we could have gotten from the community by putting it out? And it's always kind of this tug of war, I feel like. And so not that this was in early access to full launch, but in some ways it kind of feels like that.
Totally. Well, and it gives me just, like you were saying, it gives me a little hope for the future of the gaming industry. But it also kind of reminds me that, like, games are a moving target. They're an evolving art form. It's not like I finish a film and then maybe I can also put out a director cut, on some sort of streaming service. Like why I might have been really critical of like a Sea of Thieves. Well, it's already a different game today than when it launched. And No Man's Sky, I think, is an excellent example of that kind of evolution taking place in a way that wasn't really on my radar. But now even just kind of messing around with it. This is the first time I've actually even tried playing it today.
Yeah,
It's
so
a really interesting experience.
I think that you and I should get hands-on with this game today on the show. We do have a save file that we can pick up here that's just about an hour into the game. Our Newegg Ninja Leo played it for us before the show and got our starter ship working and flew us on to a new planet. So now it's our turn to kind of dig in and see what this game is all about. So
dig it.
Go ahead. You want to drive since you're in that seat?
I'll kick us off.
Cool.
Because I have way less experience in doing stuff. But this is one of the interesting things to me that I didn't really kind of have the same handle on when this game was sort of initially announced. You had a lot of commentary from people like, what is the game? And the game is sort of whatever you want it to be. And I don't think people were fully prepared for that.
Well, I always, and please chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I always thought of this game as kind of a peaceful exploration, like space exploration adventure that you can, walk around and explore beautiful planets and beautiful atmosphere and really take your time and make things your own and discover things and name things and just kind of make your own world. So a little bit like a Second Life, but in space, if you will. It's kind of what I thought of this of.
Right on.
Now, of course, Second Life had a huge social element to it, which until multiplayer was not really a thing here. This always kind of felt like more of a solo adventure, which is fine too. It's an interesting experience and one that I think is fascinating to explore, but I don't know how many hours I would sink into this personally. What were your thoughts on the game, Juan?
Well, this is one of the things, like, I agree a lot with Newegg Ninja Nick, is this is a relaxing exploration. It feels like a time commitment if I were really trying to build something in this world, but that's kind of not the point.
Is it though? I feel like it's whatever you want it to be. Like, for me, I'm so goal-focused in games.
I want you to tell me what the mission objective is so I can go and take that hill.
But they do now.
Right.
So, like, you're going towards an objective right now. So I would become so concerned with checking off my goals and my side quests that's what the game would be for me.
Right.
And for that to be fulfilling to me, the story needs to be super meaty. Now, that being said, I have not played this game. I have not read spoilers. I do not know what the story entails. Maybe it is super meaty and lovely, and so it would be worth investing, 60 plus hours.
Well, but also,
I just don't know.
But striking that balance too, where it doesn't upset the people that did like I can set my own goals, set my own tone, set my own raison d'etre.
Or people that want to run around with a bunch of friends.
Right, that too. Now, do you think that this could be the backbone of like a future MMORPG kind of game, or?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll depend on the community and kind of what the community does with it and makes it.
Download some plans.
Yeah, what did you just do? Oh,
so
you downloaded
I discovered
some
new technology, the
Cool.
Terran Manipulator.
Oh, so now you need
advanced
some
terraforming
carbon
device.
nanotubes and dihydrogen jelly.
Like
you do.
Like you do. I was just picking up some dihydrogen jelly at Whole Foods the other day. It was delicious.
Now, I know we were talking a little bit before the show that your blaster can run out of fuel, and so it's carbon that fuels that, yes?
Yes, that is correct. I am super not well versed in what is going on, so I'm kind of doing the.
What's that? You can feed it.
But do I have anything to feed it?
I don't know. Just go hit the button that was for feed.
Where'd he go? I think he's afraid of me.
Hit E.
Oh, I need cobalt.
Cobalt to feed
Okay,
him.
so where do I find some cobalt?
I don't know.
Oh, I need to get back to the ship.
Oh, you're at like 50%.
There's some things over here. Let's go see what these are.
And I think C is to scan and see what you got.
Oh, that's oxygen. You can get some oxygen here.
Ooh,
I hear
beautiful little
oxygen
eggplants.
is pretty good. I'm a fan of oxygen.
Yeah.
You like
great.
oxygen?
I do.
Well, that's good.
All right.
And what do I have over here? I've got more sodium, but I want to get cobalt. I got deuterium, sodium.
I like that you can collect that without your blaster. That's nice.
Well, and I think because I might need in ways of recharging, that's dihydrogen. So that's probably what I need for
That's
my terraformer.
one of the things you need for the dihydrogen jelly, I would assume. Now, is there a meter that says when your blaster's out that I'm not seeing?
My mining beam. You see, kind of up in the corner there.
Yeah, it does say 2%.
So I'm probably running low. Again, I did not plan this very well.
That's okay.
My limited time, but my suit's also kind of running low, so I'm gonna kind of jog
back
my
to that ship.
way back to the ship
Okay.
there. When I get back to the ship, because I'm trying not to kill us.
Now, yeah, I think it's your thermal suit that's running low, so we must be on a planet that is
that was dumb.
much too hot or much too cold for us, I guess.
Took a flying leap, literally. And here, do you want to swap in?
Yeah, I'll
You wanna
swap
give it
in.
a run? Okay.
Sure. Swapping chairs.
I kept the chair nice and warm for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, let's get up in here. So I don't want to. Should we fly into space right now? I feel like, okay, the completionist in me is like, we have an objective. We should complete said objective.
We should go explore.
But
we
the
can
person
do whatever we
that's
want.
like, we're making a good show. Maybe we should go to space.
We have
and
a
check that out.
spaceship and some dihydrogen crystals to make jelly, but we don't need to stay here. We can go anywhere you want.
Okay, well, I just got out of here real quick. It's a scalding planet. Oh, man. All right, let's
Because it's
see.
what, like 50 degrees?
If I get back in here, it's going to tell me how to take off.
50 degrees Celsius for those of you more
Let's see.
metric
What is
inclined
it? Select-
individuals.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to mine copper. They want us to build a base computer. We might
They
not
do.
be able to fly away. What did it say? W was take off? No, it's not going to let me do it. All right, let's just get out of
Boo.
here. It did say at one point what we needed to press to take off, and then it never showed it to me again.
You're trapped here.
Okay, so let's see. Carbon. Get that for my blaster, but the mining beam still says 1%.
Are we almost? Did I kill our mining beam?
So I just weapon charge depleted, even though I was getting carbon. You should fly, is what Leo says.
Leo's saying we should fly.
Well, good, because my mining beam is low. So let's go ahead and get in the ship. Do you remember what I press on keyboard mouse, or were you playing it on controller? To take off in the ship.
It should say, I think maybe it's W or something.
It doesn't say, and I thought it was W as well. It says hold W to take off. There we go.
Oh, there it goes.
There we go. Ooh.
Whee.
Is it inverted? No.
I don't think
Go
so.
up? Okay, great. I'm
I mean,
going into
based on
space.
how poorly I was playing, I'm pretty sure it's not.
Are we gonna go through?
So if you go into space, obviously that's how you get those points. But you can fly around the atmosphere too. It's just gonna be nice.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what we're doing right now.
That's kind of cool though.
I was
super
hoping
hot,
that would
super
happen.
hot, super hot.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Whoa! That planet's got some rings.
So it is exciting. I mean, like again, I probably should have given this game a fair shot when it came out because
I'm
like
just entering and exiting the atmosphere over and over like a big dummy. Probably not good for my ship.
but there's something
Sorry, I'm gonna give everybody.
there is something really exciting about scope, about making a game be whatever it is that you want it to be about. It's got to be a hard line to balance because, like you were saying, I think we're definitely raised of a gaming era where you point me in the direction of what it is that you want me to accomplish, and then I go and do that thing.
I'm boosting right now. That's what's
Do
going
it.
on. And I'm like, can I run out of gas? That would be a sad way to go in this game, huh? Okay. So let's see. Am I officially out in space now? That might be a moon. Let's see.
I don't
Oh,
know, it
what's
looks like
there?
it-
Something's there.
See, it looks like it has an atmosphere. This is sort of
A
like
space station. I would arrive in 3 hours.
the J.J. Abrams approach to planetary
Leo's
distances.
Folly. Nice. Should we go check out Leo's Folly?
Yeah, I think we need to. Especially if he made some silly mistakes.
Okay.
He was probably playing this game with a trackball.
Arrive in 13th. I like how it was like 3 hours, and now that I'm boosting, it's like, trying to get there. Let's see.
It's called Leo's Fault because that's the planet it started on. It's super toxic and terrible.
Oh, it's apparently super toxic and terrible, and that's why it's called.
So you started, Leo says he started out on a super toxic and terrible,
That's what it's called.
and that's why it's called Leo's Folly.
All right.
Um,
Leo, do you know if we can run out of gas?
No, there's no running out of gas. And if
Great.
I think you've already figured this out, but if you hold shift, it will wait.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super doing that.
Which is really just how they're hiding the loading screen.
oh, tricky.
Oh, interesting. So Leo said holding shift and traveling is how they're hiding a loading screen, which is interesting.
But I like this. Like you can just see other planets. So like when Vulcan gets destroyed by the evil Romulans, and you're halfway across the galaxy, you can still see it out in the atmosphere. That's just like
so
real
is this
life.
saying we won't get to Leo's Folly for 12 minutes and 10 seconds?
Yeah, but it'll speed up if you're going directly at it. It's weird. If you're holding shift,
So I'm like, that'll be the rest of the time that we have for the show.
Right.
it shouldn't actually take long.
Okay.
There we go, maybe space.
Hold space. Oh, yeah, baby.
There we go, so that's the load.
Thanks, chat.
Yeah, I've never played this game. So
Yeah, it took me a while.
Yeah, I mean, I could just see getting lost in this and this being the only game that you play for like the year.
no, sorry, we're actually listening to Newegg, Ninja, Leo, and Wes have a conversation, and that's terrible live streaming for you guys. Sorry.
Oh, what is happening now? So I guess I'm not even controlling it. It's
You don't even
just
need
doing
to.
it now.
But you can hit C to scan. Let's see.
Yeah,
let's see
do
what
that.
Leo's Folly is.
It's a blighted
Blighted
planet, fungal mold,
Much like
silver
Leo.
ammonia, copper,
Leo is covered in fungus.
pulse engine offline, insufficient fuel.
What?
Mine too, I'm so sorry.
Oh, Leo.
Leo!
Now you're stranded at Leo's Folly.
Unless we can find more fuel. So we still need to build some kind of base computer. Now, can we hit those asteroids? Or did we just safely navigate through
I think
that?
we safely navigated
Okay.
through that. I think we're an amazing space pilot. Oh yeah.
Oh, hold on.
If that's shooting, I don't really know what that is. Whoa, what's that? That's it? That's your station?
It's coming right for us.
Okay. Cool, man.
You can go in there. You should go in there.
Yeah, we're gonna try. It's a space station.
You should be able to dock
It's a
somewhere.
Let's
space
see.
dual pyramid thing.
Hold E for something. I'm gonna
You
try.
ever think about like the humongous engineering challenge it would be to make like a space station like that? You ever like watch like Star Trek or Star Wars and be like, well, that just looks impossible. And they're just like, oh, we'll just blow it up with this, this one grenade. And you're like, oh, that was a lot of work that one did. That's sad.
Yeah, it's interesting that the loading screen is your travel because it's kind of nice that the travel takes time.
Yeah.
It adds to the journey. Oh, I just
You just
crashed
crashed.
right into it. Hold shift to engage boost. Hey, tutorial, it'd be real nice if you told me how to fly this thing.
I'm
guess
so
can
happy
I
you're
slow down?
you're at the wheel right
Nope,
now.
that's backwards. Okay.
You keep doing that. We actually just got the slide
Oh,
that
my-
we should start bringing the show in for a landing while you try and figure out
I'm
how to dock
just
our
gonna
spaceship for a
crash
landing.
into stuff.
So one of the most popular categories of products on Newegg now, each and every week, is storage. And it's she's dying. It's no surprise. It's always nice to have more space on your PC for games, media. Saving money on that storage is a no-brainer. So this week you can save $10 and get a $20 Newegg gift card when you buy the Samsung T5 1TB portable SSD. Great fit for anyone who needs to take large files with them on the go. Did you crash, or did you?
I definitely crashed. Now I'm in the options menu looking up controls.
Oh,
Which is maybe something we should
should
have
have
done
done
before the
before
show.
we.
To be
got on
perfectly frank,
the air.
we played around
Live.
on the planet
Yeah.
before we went live,
We
but
didn't-
we
we
did
didn't
not
spend
do
enough
any
time.
space travel. So that was a definite
Silliness on our part.
silliness on our part.
But you got to see our tragic failure in all of its awesome
Yes,
glory.
initiate landing is
So
key.
also on that Newegg Now deals page, we have a number of great deals from Corsair, including popular CPU coolers and power supplies, a Linksys tri-band Wi-Fi router, and of course those products we mentioned earlier in the show like the MSI laptop and a whole rainbow of Vertigear gaming chairs. I'll say it one last time. Visit Newegg.com/Newegg Now for full details and the promo codes you need to save some cash. These deals are only live through the end of the day today, so the clock is ticking.
Boom.
You got it? You gonna
Nope.
dock? Nope.
Nope.
Oh, you missed it.
I
oh,
think
oh
it's
no,
here.
wait. There's the docking
I think
thing.
if I
There's
go
the
to
Hold
this
on.
thing
Just 1 second. We're gonna
and
figure
hit
this
E,
out.
I'm sideways, but I think it could still work.
I have faith in you.
I'm in. I'm in.
You can
I
do it.
hit-
You can do it.
Yeah!
Yeah. There we go. Good job.
Not as hard as we made it seem.
See, no, it's way easier actually
Yes.
than when we've been letting it on to be.
We
so,
made it to Leo's Folly. So guys, thank you so much to everyone out there for watching, and make sure that you tune in next week because we're going to be talking about all the tech that you need to get started with Vigimo game streaming.
Yup.
This has been Newegg Now, and now you know. Bye guys.
Bang.